What if the world never heard Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, or never seen the work of Salvador Dali? These might seem like trivial questions, because most everyone would recognize an image of William Shakespeare or of Beethoven. This is because these two artists are introduced at the elementary school level. In fact, in a 2011 survey performed by the National Center of Education Statistics, 93% of elementary schools provide some form of the arts at least once a week. Even here at St. Petersburg College, as well as the University of South Florida, students are required to study some form of the humanities, which is the study of the human expression through art, music, dance, theater, even for a bachelor's in science degree. Why then do we not require our high school students to study the arts? Well, L. Earl Franks, executive director of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, says school leaders need to make a commitment to ensuring that every student has access to the arts, not as an extra enhancement when there's time, not as a luxury for the privileged, but as an essential part of a well-rounded education. And for this reason is why we need to require all Pinellas County High School students to study some form of the arts to graduate. Currently, classes in art and music are offered only as an elective. And the opposition will argue that if students want to study the arts, then they'll elect to take them. But this is not an option left for our children to decide. In fact, in a study published in 2006 titled Whole Brain Learning, the Fine Arts for Students at Risk, they found that 57% of all participants had a 0.5% increase in GPA compared to the control group, which was only 11% showed an increase. That means that studying the arts produces an increase in learning across all subjects. So studying the arts is fundamental to critical thinking skills. Therefore, we need to be teaching our high school students the arts. So I'm going to lay out 3 simple things to do to implement art education for our high school students. And they are parent involvement at home, community involvement, and political involvement. So the first thing is parent involvement at home. What can parents do to encourage the arts for their children? Well, for one, they can have simple conversations about art or music, such as, I like how Beethoven did his hair for this picture, or I like how William Shakespeare looks in these tights. Another thing they can do is emphasize any art that their child has created, such as a picture or a model, something they can display on their desk or make it a centerpiece in their home. This reinforces the value of what their child is doing. As Scott Schuler said in his article, Why High School Students Should Study the Arts, students who have discovered that they have a special interest or ability in a particular arts area should be encouraged to pursue that interest through advanced study at the high school level. Schuler goes on to say, students whose kindergarten through 8th grade arts experience have not sparked their interest should be urged to explore new arts areas. And this all begins with the parents at home, which takes me into my next step, which is community involvement. In the same article by Scott Schuler, he said, all citizens, whether college-educated professionals or unskilled laborers, need the joy, beauty, and inspiration and recreation that the arts provide. In other words, a society that's educated in the arts benefits, similar to how, excuse me, everyone would benefit from a cleaner environment. Because society would share in the benefit, we should also share in the cost. One strategy that's been implemented in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, was a benefit fundraiser in which all proceeds went to fund the Arts in Schools program, as well as scholarships to the Edmond Fine Arts Institute. Now that's a private school, so we can't stop there, which brings me to my third solution, which is political involvement. We must attend the district school board meetings so our voice can be heard by the people in charge of the budget. We must contact our state governors to emphasize our value in teaching our children the arts, and we must talk to representatives from Congress to secure funding from the federal government for the arts in our public high schools. So in closing, the study of arts is not currently required at the high school level. And because the study of the arts is fundamental to critical thinking skills, we need to require it. And the three things we can do to implement that is first, and I emphasize this point the most because it's the most important, is for parents' involvement at home. Something as simple as saying, I like that painting, or I don't like that painting and why, or by asking your child what they like about that painting and why. The next was community involvement. This is something as simple as attending a public function of the arts and fundraiser supporting the arts in school. And finally, political involvement at the county, state, and federal level to express how important the arts are for our children. And though studying dance, theater, and music might seem trivial, it beats the alternative.